Greetings once again for the final session of this week. Completing this piece today with a little bit of pastel and a little bit of conte and a little bit of acrylic. And here's Kit Kat to say hello of sorts. Hey? How's that? Hey? Hey, my boy. Alright. So where are you going to come and lie down and join us then for today? Right then, let's get to it. I want to... Oh, and before I do, I wanted to make mention of the fact that a new subscriber of mine, Julie Ramsey, welcome to you. You are the 50th subscriber. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I've got any more since then, but just before that I took a break, I realized that you were my 50th. So good on you. Anywho, right, let's get to it then, shall we? I want to complete this part of the coastline part over here and just get that out the way. These are the hills or the dunes rather. I presume that they were still once the multi-million-year-old dunes, sand dunes that have been covered in vegetation, much like the rest of the coastline. Yeah, so they all along the stretch of the coastline we have these very, very well established sand dunes that are covered with natural vegetation for the most part, and interestingly enough, where there has been human development, oh, goodness gracious me, that's not working, where there has been human interaction and development and so on, and there's been a lot of erosion, because obviously you take away the natural vegetation which holds the soil together and thrives in this climate right next to the sea. When you take that away and you start building in foundations and funny things that aren't meant to hold the actual earth together, they're meant to hold houses and developments up, then you don't have anything to hold the dunes together with. So you start to get erosion and bits of the shoreline area breaking away, and it's just a Muppet show, really it is. That's what we do as human beings, don't we? We just come and invade, and we do our thing, and we have our way, but it's not always going to be. Nature doesn't play ball. So you get these fancy developments suddenly developing great big cracks and whatever. Good. People don't learn. We do not learn at all. That's the stupidity of us. Just in our greed to build and to go, oh, this is our home. It's just greed. There's no need for place development right here in amongst this is natural. This natural coastline that has been here for millions of years like this, and now we come on and destabilize the whole area. We can't just go inland. We have to be right on the coast because it's pretty and it's all, you know, So that's when the destabilization of these wonderful dunes starts to take place. It is what it is. Fools that we are. Whatever we will do, we will carry on doing regardless. And we will complain about the monkeys getting into our kitchens and living spaces, and because we can't live symbiotically, we can't live together, we have to complain, we have to move them out, we have to shift them out, we have to cause, they have to be the problem, not us. Oh no. Anyway, I'm ranting a bit today, and so be it. This is what growth is, you see. This is what human beings, what we term as growth. It's got nothing to do with the rest of the planet. Absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the planet. But anyway, I don't know what set me off on that rant, but it really, you know, when as I was saying yesterday, this region used to be, this whole coastline used to be this very, very laid back. Sure, there was some development, and I guess it's just now an exacerbation of that. But so there used to be a development, but there was just a few scattered little chalets and holiday cottages and the odd little shopping complex or something like that along the coastline. But by and large it was a very lazy little laid back coastal village, and now it's this mega metropolis of development, residential, commercial, horrible, nothing but traffic, nothing but blooming Range Rovers and G-Wagons wherever you look. 4x4s that get used for nothing. It's a joke. Anyway, we've still got this beauty in front of us that, as I said, is ever present. It's never going to go away. That will. This won't. This is forever. Long after we've been booted out. So we just have to accept it. That's the way it's going to be. That is the way it's going to be. Yeah, we fight it though. Ah, goodness, we do. We try and make this earth comply with our greed and desires and wishes, but it never really does. Never really does. Even this wonderful tidal pool complex, as I said, behind us here. It was built maybe 60, 70 years ago, I don't know, something along those lines, somewhere in that region, and it's taken, the elements have taken their toll, just biding its time. The ocean just carries on, day in, day out, hour after hour, minute after minute, just carries on, pummeling away at anything that is in front of it. It eventually expends itself on the shoreline, but anything that's built in that region is going to be up for the taking. So every single instant the ocean is inexorably in motion and will ultimately tear all of this down and just carry on doing its thing. And we have this sense of permanency with these fancy new developments and all these sort of things. The problem is that, and I think that's going to show up in years to come, decades to come, is that all of these new developments, all of them, residential, industrial, commercial, all of these developments are built on kind of reclaimed sugarcane fields. So the sugarcane companies have obviously realized that sugar is no longer such a viable commodity. South Africa once was probably the largest exporter of sugar, one of the largest exporters of sugar, and now we're not. So all of these, and the entire coastline was sugarcane farming. Now it's not so much anymore. So we have these properties, estates, developments that are being built on sugarcane land, and these are not naturally covered vegetation for the most part. I mean, they've eradicated the greed of the sugarcane industry has eradicated most of the natural vegetation of this subtropical vegetation of this coastline. Completely denuded it. So for many decades now, in fact for more than a century, we've had no natural vegetation to keep all the soil and the land stable. So there we're going to have problems. And it's quite an undulating, sort of hilly area, the coastline. Mostly, as I said, sand dune, and especially up towards the sea. And that's become unstable because we don't have the natural vegetation to hold it all together. So, years to come, we'll have subsidence and all these things happening, as it should be. Right, I'm just kind of tickling away at the surface here with my white Conte, the pastel. You have this very disrupted surface of this wave. It's not, there is a flow to it. There's this surge, upward surge, but the surface of this is very much all over the place. It's being picked up by this offshore breeze, wind. So where the wave begins to break, it starts to scatter because of the breeze. So you've got this higgledy-piggledy whiteness on the surface. And as I said, the camera doesn't really pick it up, what I'm doing. It's quite indistinct. That's just Kit Kat, by the way, having a little snore. So, as I've been saying all along, I am simply feeling this piece, just feeling even feeling the sun against these rollers over here, just as they catch the light. Scoot scat, Kit Kat. So it's really now all about this. I've established these different light and shade areas, the hues of color, etc. Now it's just picking up the line, picking up the little highlights and what have yous. Very jiggly line, very erratic. This is really just residual foam sitting on the surface of the preceding wave that's just trundled off to the right here. So a very distressed surface here, and especially in this in this region. It's just like this, and there's this kind of a subflow here. We've got this main wave that's building up here. There's this energy build-up surging in from behind, pushing this wave forward, and then there's this offshore wind that is just picking up the surface. Everything it catches, everything it gets beneath, it just lifts up into the air. So I've got quite a, and I'm going to be using my acrylic towards the end to that effect, to accentuate that spray and just more of the action of this piece. Okay, you will have the rhythmic snoring of Kit Kat in the background, I would imagine now. It's quite close. He's quite close to the camera, so so all is well. There's my Conte for a little bit, just to give some softer line, white line, and just to build up the whiteness a little bit here. I'll also take a close-up image when I post the final image up. I'll take a close-up of a couple of these areas maybe that can to show you how, and unfortunately I don't post them up onto YouTube, but I'll post them onto Facebook and Instagram, just to show you a close-up of how this detail emerges, or the illusion of such detail. My treatment of the ocean in latter pieces has evolved quite immeasurably to my thinking, and that has come through the observation of the energy that I'm depicting, that I'm feeling as I work on, as I sit here as I sit here describing what I'm doing, it's kind of a feeling of being right there, of what's going on. What am I feeling? How does it feel against my feet, against my legs? Can I smell the sea breeze, the sea air, the breeze against my right hand side as I look down the coastline, as it pulls at my shirt. It's all of those elements that constitute the energy of this piece, of each of my works. And I think that's what's the clincher. That's what's so important in telling the story. The bounciness of the waves, of the as they surge across the rocks here. All of that is all about observation, and what I've been doing predominantly, so much more so since having started my artsy lockdown sessions, has been about observation and verbalizing the observations. So putting it into language, giving it meaning, giving it purpose, giving myself learning. That's what it's about. That's how I evolve as an artist. And that's how I think we all should evolve as artists, those of us who are choosing to do so. And then on a peripheral level, how we evolve as human beings, in terms of what we do. It's not about art. It's really about how we are being. Art is a state of being. How we express ourselves is a state of being. What we do, what our life is about, what our livelihoods are about. It's all expression. It's all self-expression, and it's all how we language what we do, that we can actually understand better why we do it and change it if needs be. That can only come about through observation, and observation can only really come about through talking about it, through languaging it for ourselves. The big why. That's how we grow. That's how we grow together. We have conversation. We have discussion. We reach compromise, never sacrifice. That's how we evolve as a species. Not through war and telling everyone else that I'm right and you're wrong. That's not evolution. That's greed, that's stupidity, that's scarcity. We can only grow through abundance. And for the most part, this world is not observing abundance for what it is. Only in pockets. For the most part, people are just knee-jerk responding. Yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir, but we don't even know what we're asking, what we are being asked to do, and why. And not even the askers even know why. It's because we don't observe. We don't stop. We don't stop and take pause and go, what's going on here? We just act and react constantly. And that's what this is about. This art, capturing something, capturing a moment in time, because it's constant. This flow is constant yet never the same. So change is really about nothing ever being the same. Seeking to always improve, to learn, to enhance, to evolve. That's what it's about. Forget everything that we've been told. It doesn't exist. It might have existed at a time, and we hold on to it as our truth. It never really was. It never really existed. Everything is an illusion, and that illusion is created in our minds. Why do we need to hang on to stuff that doesn't exist anymore, that never perhaps did in the first place, because we didn't stop to question it? It's not to say that everything's wrong. There's no such thing as right and wrong, really. I'm really having a rant today. I don't know what's brought this on, but anyway. It's because I'm doodling, you see. Right, let me mix up some paint. There's my little, get that ready as well. Oh, it's getting a bit thick. Come on now. There we go. Rightio, let's hit this baby. Just to try and get this roughness in here that you won't really see it that well on camera, but it's really adding a a wonderful texture and a layer here that I've been kind of building towards. A little split splat here and a little split splat there. That's what I'm looking for. If I want it more intense, I come closer in. If I want some just arbitrary splashes, I go further away. Let's get some more. Now I want this a little bit more watery. I think that'll do, you know. I don't want it to be an overkill of spray, but I want to just get this lovely texture. Alright, so that'll do. That will do. Now let me employ my, that's not that one. Let me employ my little old brush. Just dig straight in here. So I use my acrylic paint white to create these extreme highlights. And not everywhere, but just in chosen spots. So that when it dries, it goes much whiter than the pastel spots, and it also not, because it's kind of ridged as well. It's casting shadow as well when it dries. So it gives a lovely additional texture where required. And in addition, because of the powderiness of the chalk pastel, the acrylic doesn't take. It takes in a bitty fashion, so it also adds to that effect that it's not solid. So we have these lovely differing textures going on here. And where it is kind of more solid, well, not solid, but where I've been laying it down thicker, I'm getting this bubbling, slight bulging of the paper, but it's very thick paper, so it will, once it dries, it will subside smooth and flat again. And that's the main reason I really enjoy working with this particular paper, this particular medium. It's so forgiving, it's so, man, versatile. It's exactly what I need, especially for this kind of artwork. Yes. Let's see. How about a small little bit of palette knife here. little bit of palette knife. So I'm going to put that on there for a bit and then just to scumble a little bit here. You can really do anything with this paper. That's why I enjoy it so much. Right, and now I'll just finish off with some more line work. And where I've used the spray with a toothbrush of acrylic, it creates a surface that is quite abrasive. So now it picks up the pastel even better where I want to use it. Yeah, that's nice. So it's really giving me a wonderful texture to work with as I just pull through the finishing touches to this piece the last 8 minutes or so. with a wonderful series of layers and a patterner as well. There's a kind of a relief smudgy patterner that's going on here, which is adding another dimension to this piece. Loving that. So it's tactile, the expression of this artwork of the sea, of the waves, of the action, of the activity, of the energy. There's a really fulsome expression here. And I apologize that you can't actually pick it up as well as you should be able to. If only I could do these sessions in three dimensions, holographically. I think that'll do. I think that will do. I think that will do. Right, let me sign off. Let me sign off. Find a tool with which to sign off there. Yep. Yes, very happy with that. Right, let me do so. I've got this thing lifting out. Right. Go. Yeah. 20, plenty, 1. Here we go, folks. We are finally done with this piece. Oh man, it's taken what, 5 sessions, 6 sessions, I don't know. It shouldn't have taken quite as long as this, but what with the interruptions and so on. It is as it should be. So, and I'm quite chuffed with the result, I might add. And well, she'll be starting a new seascape next week. Hopefully getting back into the swing of things properly. So I hope you've enjoyed the process so far, this last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so. And number of sessions rather. So do have a fantastic weekend, oodles and oodles of toodles, and I'm going to be thinking about what I'm going to be doing starting on Monday, what the next piece will be. I have a series of artworks to do in this region, so it'll be something to do with this. It'll be a seascape of sorts. Yes, have a fantastic weekend further, and do tune in again next week. Thank you for bearing with me thus far, and it's been an interesting journey. So we'll take it a stage further next week in our learning and understanding and evolution. So yes, have a good one, folks. See you later. Take it easy. Bye. And oodles of toodles and doodles.